Check out Paddy Power's new and exclusive Cash Card Plus, available to use online, at ATMs, or even down the local. Paddy Power, you beauty.
Hi there, a very warm welcome to the Racing Post Football Postcast. I'm Bruce Millington, and my panel today consists of Racing Post colleagues Joe Champion and Mark Langdon, plus from Paddy Power, one of their super traders, a very, very good judge, and also a Liverpool fan, Ian Griffin, will be getting his views on the Reds, and hopefully all the best bets, all the big value prices for the weekend, which features 5 Premier League live games. So we're going to look at that. We'll give you another chance to win a £25 free bet. But first of all, we'll look back on the big issues with the 6 questions. The lads get 2 each, and then they get to answer the one they wish they'd been asked. So without further ado, Mark, the Champions League roared back into life this week. Absolutely brilliant. I thought Tuesday was a little bit... it was okay, it was fine, but last night I really enjoyed it. There was loads of great action. What was your big takeout, as we must call it these days? You used to just say Lesnar. What did you learn from match week
the
one?
one thing we learned from match week.
What was the one thing?
I think that maybe Barcelona's funeral that had already been organised maybe needs to be cancelled, at least for a few weeks. They were very good against Juventus. Maybe the 3-0 was a little bit harsh on the Italians, but at the same time, Messi is just playing to a level that's, I think he's kind of gone up again because of Neymar's departure. He feels like he's got to drag the team. Long term, I would worry about the depth of their squad, but the 11 they had out against Juventus is capable, definitely, of winning the Champions League.
They've always had quite a weak squad, though, haven't they? They've always been 1 to 11, really, with 1 or 2.
Yeah, but I think the young players maybe that have come in before are probably better. That this current crop maybe not quite good enough, and the drop off. If one of that front 3 misses out, Deulofeu's next one in.
I know, yeah. How do you like Dembele? Is he settling in nicely?
No, I mean he had a very poor debut. I thought actually he was the worst player. He kept giving the ball away, but he's only 21, and he this time last year he was just getting into the Dortmund team. So I think it's always got to be a long term project for him. But overall,
you say Messi better than ever?
I would say. I think he scored 7 goals in 3 games, last 3 matches, and even in the first game, I think he hit the woodwork 3 times. So I think what's happened with Neymar has meant he's had to kind of take even more responsibility, and he hasn't signed that new contract yet, which must concern Barcelona.
Absolutely. So Barcelona are back, according to Mark. Now then, Joe, which of the 5 Premier League teams do you think will go furthest in the competition based on not just what we saw over the last couple of days, but generally?
I think Man City, I think they're probably got the best squad. They've got such a deep squad, and they can rotate a lot better when it comes to Premier League games as well. So certainly them, but they must be favourites. I'd imagine their group's not too difficult either. So
are they potential winners, Joe, do you think?
I think so, yeah. I think Guardiola knows what you need to get it done. So I can agree with them being a short enough price to win it, but I think they're definitely in with a shout.
And any of the other English teams do their chances good or bad? Or, obviously Liverpool's draw wasn't great, was it? Tottenham won, that was decent.
Yeah, it was obviously a very good result for Spurs last night. They had a game plan, they stuck to it, they let Dortmund come at them rather than play their usual pressing game, and that worked out for them. That's a great result, really. And they should be able to beat Apoel home and away, and then...
Chelsea and Man U just did what you'd expect.
They did exactly what they should have done, yeah. Bad result for Liverpool, though.
Yeah, it certainly was. It wasn't good at all, was it? Poor old Ian's a Liverpool fan. He wouldn't have been delighted. So we'll have a Liverpool-themed question for you, Ian. Jurgen Klopp, overrated, underrated, or correctly rated?
I think last night, for the first time, I actually felt a bit worried about what was going on. Like, anybody can see that Lovren and Moreno are just not up to the level. You gave Robertson a go against Palace. I thought he was very good, put some great balls into the box. Didi Hamann came out last night and said that the Van Dijk deal was off as soon as it happened. So he had lots of time to find an alternative defender. And I just can't see us really going anywhere with this, because it's just a bit shambolic at the defending at times. Great going forward, probably the best going forward in the league, I think. But it's going to be hard to win anything with this level of the defending, I think.
When did he fall out of love with Milner as a left back?
I think he just in pre-season he was giving Moreno a go. He's very good. He was very good against Bayern in pre-season, and all of a sudden he's giving him another chance, and he seems to be sticking by him, which doesn't really make sense. You bring in Robertson for 10 million quid, good player, very good for Scotland last week as well. Still not given a chance after a great debut.
So where are you now? You're just getting slightly like those Arsenal fans were 3 or 4 years ago with their Wenger out. Is it getting? We're not quite Klopp out yet, are we?
No, because we're never Klopp out.
Well, you might be. Never say never.
Yeah, I just think because he's such a good character, he gets a bit of leeway there as well, you know.
Oh, does he?
But I won't. No, I'm not nowhere near Klopp out at the moment. But
where are your boys going to finish in the league then, Ian?
After the opening to the season, I'd be happy again with another top 4.
Okay.
But I don't understand. We have the money is there. We should be going out and buying the defenders.
Yeah.
He's come out this morning and said that you can't. It's not. You couldn't have done it in the transfer window, but he put a bid in for 70 million quid for Van Dijk. We need to go out and buy defenders. Absolutely.
Well, if Liverpool think they've got problems, what about us poor Palace fans? So, Mark Langdon, can Roy revive Palace?
Yeah, he can do. I mean, it's only a few matches into the season, so I wouldn't have got. I think Frank de Boer could have done the same, really. I mean, the performance against Burnley wasn't bad at all. On another day, they at least get a draw, probably win. So, obviously there were problems behind the scenes, it sounds like, between de Boer and Parish right from the word go, and Friedman as well. So, I mean, when that situation happens, you probably you do have to make the change, because I don't see how that would have got any better. I think it damning indictment of Parish and those that appointed the board to not give him the resources and then the time to change the team around. But I suppose they've felt that they had to do it to give themselves a chance to stand up. I mean, Hodgson is what Hodgson is, really. I mean, some people say he's a dinosaur, and I suppose he is. But Palace have had somebody in Sam Allardyce who's not a dinosaur at all. He's much more modern, but I think Hodgson will do better with an Allardyce type squad than what Frank de Boer would. Yeah. I expected Palace to make a lot more changes in the summer to help de Boer, and they didn't do that.
No, and I tell you what, I mean, if we don't get anything against Southampton, the next 3 games are Man United away, Man City away, Chelsea at home, so we could be 0 from 8, couldn't we?
Yeah. I mean, it's very rare for a team to go on that kind of run. I mean, to a point pops up somewhere, or that you maybe don't expect. I mean, who would have thought that Palace would have did what they did at Stamford Bridge last season? So, I mean, you are due a result. I think it's fair to say, and a bit of luck.
Yes, that's true. Okay, well, we'll see. Joe, which manager will leave first? And before you answer, Ian, have you got some latest sack race prices for us?
We have Bilic 5, 6 to 5, Benitez 5s. Mauricio Pellegrini 7s, Craig Shakespeare 16s, Eddie Howe 20s, and then we have Wenger 20s as well, 25s the rest bar.
What do you reckon, Joe?
I just wonder if Pellegrino might be a bit of value at that price. Southampton, they every year they make a managerial change. It's worked out so far, but eventually they were going to fail, and they're not doing well at all. They're not even playing well, and they're certainly not getting the results. So he could be in big trouble.
We'll see. We'll have this conversation after they've been to Palace on Saturday. Okay, so Pellegrino for Joe. And Ian, your second question is, if there was one piece, because I've never done a postcast with you, Ian, and you're a trader, so I'm interested to know, if there's one piece of winning advice that you could give to punters who bet on football, what would it be?
They probably just don't go looking for bets. You don't have to have a bet just for any reason. Just wait for the value.
I used to think that because I used to think on a Saturday, if you look at the coupon, generally 1 or 2 prices jump off, don't they? Do you still get that, Mark, where you look at it and think, blimey, how can they be that price?
Yeah, it does happen.
Give me a football tip.
It's quite difficult, isn't it? I mean, I don't think there's that many crazily wrong prices in a football coupon. But
so how do you do it, Ian? Then do you just keep your eye out and do you let the bad prices come to you?
Yeah, well, I just had a look this morning even. And a couple of things jumped out, like Real 4 to 6 away to Sociedad looks pretty good to me. Like something just jumped off the page to me.
Excellent. Okay, well, we'll get your nap later on. Thank you, chaps. Which question would you like to take, Mark Langdon?
I'd take the sack race one, because I think the Southampton bosses are under it as well, actually. There doesn't appear to be actually they were playing better last year under Puel in terms of like all the data. This season, the Swansea game they played okay. We're going to obviously discuss them more in a minute against that live preview against Palace. But I mean, I think he is under a bit of pressure, and I mean, I think Southampton would make a change if they felt it wasn't working. I mean, he's a pretty inexperienced manager as well, so maybe that could be the route. I just don't see Benitez walking away from Newcastle. We spoke about this many times when he was favourite in the summer. Just don't see it. Bilic is obviously under it, but they're the brothers, the old dildo brothers, are quite patient, aren't they? Usually, so
they are actually, yeah, they are. And also, you'd think with Benitez, Mark, that if he goes, it will be because another Premier League manager has been sacked.
So West Ham would be the obvious one.
It might be a good one for the dual forecast.
Yeah.
Okay, Joe, which question are you going to answer?
I'll just take a Hodgson one. I think he should do a good job at Palace, as Lango said. He's got the squad for it there, and just that they really didn't support De Boer in the transfer market at all, did they? Really? I mean, they hardly let him bring in any players.
You say that, but I mean, I read this week we've got the 20th most expensively assembled squad in Europe. I mean, he's bought in Sacco for 25 million.
How many of those are Premier League squads?
He didn't get to play Sacco, did he? Though I mean, no. Sacco only came in. What was it? He wasn't even fit for the Burnley game. So, no. I mean, was it one signing, right?
Ray Devald,
two loanees.
Yeah, but they're very good loanees. I mean, Fosu Mensah and Loftus-Cheek, they are absolutely superb. So, you know, I mean, they're real quality. So he's got quality.
It's difficult to change a squad when you're not allowed to make too many changes to the playing staff, though, really.
Yeah, and Zaha's been injured.
Yeah, that's the big thing. That's the bit. And also, they have made so many defensive errors. I mean, they really have. They've defended like children at times. Okay, lads, I'm glad that you feel we could be coming back. Ian, which question are you going to answer?
I'll take the first question.
Go on then. What did you learn from match week 1 in the Champions League?
I think this year Guardiola looks to got it right. The balance is right. He looks to got a solid at the back. Otamendi looks decent. If he keeps company fit, it's massive as well. And if you have Silva and De Bruyne behind Jesus and Aguero, it's absolutely scary good. And they're just going to score lots of goals. And I think they'll do a lot better in the Champions League this year than previous years.
I like the left back, don't you?
Yeah,
Mendy is something else, isn't he? What's the latest betting on the Champions League, Ian?
So the Champions League, we are 7-2 Real, top price 11-2 on PSG. 6-1 Barca, 13-2 Bayern, and we're top price 12-1 Man City, top price 18-1 Chelsea, 20 Liverpool, and 25 Spurs.
Okay, jolly good. Excellent. Thank you very much, chaps. Let's get stuck into the weekend action. We've got Friday night football, which is always good news. And at 8 o'clock, Brighton play Bournemouth. It's a derby, of course. We're in no doubt which coast these teams are separated on, because you can't refer to them as anything other than South Coast clubs. So Brighton, Bournemouth, not a fixture you would have thought 5 years ago would be a live Premier League one, but they've both done very well under their progressive owners and managers. And Ian, set us off with a show of betting.
So we have Bournemouth. We're top price Bournemouth at 5-4, 12-5 to draw, and 9-4 on Brighton. It's not the most exciting Friday night game in the world, is it? The Bournemouth have only scored once all season. I can't see really Brighton picking up too many points away from home. So I've really I'd like to be on the unders here, the under 2.5, 8-11.
Yeah, okay. So Dullsville, yeah?
Dullsville, yeah.
All right then. Right, what do you think will happen, Mark?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like Bournemouth at home in this one, Bruce. I have to say, if you have a look at the the odds for the match, they're basically saying that there's not much between Bournemouth and Brighton over the course of a season, and I think that Bournemouth are better than Brighton, even though they've made a terrible start to the campaign. If you have a look at the games, they've lost a nothing match at West Brom, which I mean can happen. The other 3 games, Watford probably one of the most impressive teams this season. Manchester City and Arsenal. I think that Bournemouth will get better as the season goes on. They were unlucky to lose to City in some respects, that the goal came very late. And for all that Brighton got that victory against West Brom, you've written about expected goals today. Brighton's expected goals performance in that match was shocking. I think it was like 0.4, and they scored 3 times. No goal in the other 3 matches. I just think if you're I'm taking this match over the whole season. If I think Bournemouth are better than Brighton, I think I've got to back Bournemouth to win this one.
You're going to be backing Bournemouth at 5-2. Joe, 5-4 even. Joe, what do you like?
Yeah, I'll take the draw. I agree with what Ian was saying about unders. I think 8-11 is sort of the right price for that. So maybe chance the draw because, we talked about Bournemouth's start not being great and they have had difficult games, but they've got to go out there and win now. And maybe they're just a little bit on the short side, but I'll take the draw.
Righty-ho, competition time. Every week we give listeners the chance to win a free £25 or €25 bet, courtesy of our sponsors, Paddy Power. And well done to Manny Boyle from Glasgow, who's last week's winner. Well done, Manny. Your free bet will be credited to your Paddy Power account. If you want to win a free £25 or €25 bet, this week's question is simple. Who did Manchester United beat on their Champions League return on Tuesday night? All you've got to do is tweet the name of the team, add the hashtag Postcast, and you've got half a chance of winning. We will announce the winner next Thursday.
Check out Paddy's new VIPP Club. Get a £10 free bet every week when you place 5 bets of £10 or more. Max £10 bonus per person per week. Excludes shops. Selected odds. Conditions and exclusions apply. 18+. BeGambleAware.org. 2
live Premier League games take place on Saturday at stadia of contrasting quality. At 12:30 at ramshackle Selhurst Park. A ramshackle team so far on what they've done. Crystal Palace entertain Southampton. And Ian Griffin from Paddy Power. How do you bet?
6-4 Southampton. We are 15-8 Palace and 9-4 the draw.
What do you think will happen, Ian? Lead on.
I think it's going to be tight, isn't it? Hodgson is always known for being organised. Southampton have drawn 2 from the first 4. It's hard to pick a side in this, so I'm going to go with the draw 9-4.
Quite simple. Play it safe on the draw. What do you reckon, Mark?
Yeah, I'm going to take a chance on Crystal Palace. I mean, we have spoken about them already, maybe being unlucky. Well, they were unlucky, definitely, against Burnley. Even against Swansea and Huddersfield, they were punished, ruthlessly. And Southampton are not a team that usually take advantage. I mean, and last season they were going off short prices because their match performance data on like possession, shots, expected goals was all really high. This season, yes, they started off well against Swansea in that regard. Last 3 matches, shots on target, they had 5 to West Ham's 8, even though West Ham were playing with 10 men for a long time. Against Huddersfield, it was 6-3 to Huddersfield. And against Watford, even at St Mary's, it was 3-1 to Watford. So I think that there is a definite concern there for Southampton, who started off okay and have just gone on a real bad slide. I wrote last week. I mean, they went off 8-13 against Watford, bizarrely last week, and I think I'm going to have to take them on again.
Righty ho, Joe. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I'm exactly the same as Mark. Really, I'm looking to oppose this Southampton team as much as possible, and Palace they look like they can win games. I mean, they should have won last week, really, and everything Mark said, the shots tell everything you need to know about this Southampton side, and maybe Palace DNB with a bit of insurance. So draw no bet 11-10, I think.
Okay, over at Wembley at 5:30, it's Tottenham versus Swansea. Should be a free-flowing game, plenty of pretty passing. Spurs hot favourites, I guess, Ian.
Yeah, we have Spurs at 2-9 Favs. We bet 11-1 Swansea and 11-2 the draw.
Joe, is this the kind of game that Swansea could upset Tottenham, or do you think it'll be a routine home win?
No, I think Tottenham should be fine in this. Really, Swansea haven't done that well this season anyway. They've scored once, all in 4 games, and I think Spurs should win comfortably. It's just a way of finding out how to support them that's been bugging me. I looked at first goal scorers, Harry Kane, 15-8. You probably don't want to go much shorter than that. But then he has got 4 goals in 2 games. Now August is over, he's doing fine. I just like the look of Tottenham to win to 0 actually at about even money. As I said, Swansea haven't scored many, so that'll do.
Okay, Mark, what are you going to go for?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because the market basically is saying Wembley's not a problem. If you have a look at the price they went off against Burnley, it was roughly the same. They didn't actually win that one, but they were around about 11-10 against Chelsea, albeit that Chelsea had problems. Last night they were smashed off the boards against Dortmund as well, into about 6-5 to win that game. So the market's saying Wembley's not a problem. I mean, Wednesday would have been a big boost for them, beating Dortmund. Sanchez does make a few errors positionally, but his pace was the one thing they lacked last season. So next to Alderweireld and Vertonghen, I think that to win to nil does look pretty safe. I was looking at half-time, full-time, 4-5. Maybe if Tottenham are to win this one, they want to get ahead early. It's a quick turnaround for them. One I'll just throw out there, Sissoko, often sort of the laughing stock, since his £30 million move, played really well at Everton and missed a couple of chances as well. If he plays, there could be a bit of rotation. Just keep an eye out for him. If it's not against Swansea, maybe even in the League Cup in the week, I think he's somebody to, he's playing quite advanced in that midfield at the moment, so he's one to keep an eye on.
What's your fancy here, Ian?
I just totally agree with the lads. The only value I can see here is Spurs to nil at even money. The defensively, probably, as we mentioned, the three lads are great defenders, and Kane is pretty streaky, isn't he? I expect Kane to go on a run now, and Spurs to win to nil is the bet for me.
Okay, let's get the naps.
This will not be beaten.
Ian Griffin, what's yours?
As I said earlier on, Sociedad have been good in the first 3 games. They've won the first 3 games, but the Real Madrid squad depth is unbelievable. Like last week, they had Isco and Bale on the bench. It's just ridiculous kind of stuff. I fancy them this week to beat Sociedad at 4-6.
Now, you did say earlier as well, Ian, there were a couple that jumped off the page. So let's see if we can get a next best out of it.
Nothing really else. I like Borough at home. I think they're 8-11.
Okay, doke.
That's the only team that really jumped out at me this week.
Right, you are. Mark, what's your nap?
I'm going to go for Oxford, draw no bet away at Blackpool. Now, Blackpool have only lost once this season. Home advantage doesn't tend to be that much for them. They play in front of sparse crowds. They've done well at home so far this season, but it's been a nice, easy run of matches for them.
You liked Oxford when you went to see them, didn't you?
Did, yeah. I mean, I just think that under Pep Clotet, it will take a little bit of time. So they are playing in spells at the moment. But that first 20 minutes against MK, one of the Milton Keynes Dons coaches, I won't say exactly what he said, but he said they were brilliant, and a few swear words in there as well for the first 20 minutes. They couldn't get near them. Eventually, the Dons got back into the game, but I really did like them. They were unlucky against Bradford on Tuesday. I backed them on Tuesday. Bradford scored with virtually the last kick, but a well-balanced team. Don't expect them to lose this game. They've only lost once this season themselves. A very solid side, and just hopefully they can nick the win. Don't expect them to lose.
How about you, Joe?
I like Brentford at home to Reading. They haven't won yet this season, of course, but it's a classic case of the table not telling you everything you need to know. In their recent games, they played Villa off the park, couldn't win there, but and then they went toe-to-toe with Wolves, sort of matched them statistically as well. And those are 2 highly rated sides, particularly Wolves. And I think Reading, they're not, they're showing what everyone thought they would do last season. They're now doing this season. They're not scoring goals, and it just, even money, Brentford is probably an indicator of how highly they're regarded. So I think they should finally get that first win of the season.
Okay, I am desperate to keep taking on Aston Villa, so I'm going to back Barnsley, draw no bet at 6-4 against Villa at Barnsley's gaff on Saturday.
Check out Paddy's new VIPP Club. Get a £10 free bet every week when you place 5 bets of £10 or more. Max £10 bonus per person per week. Excludes shops. Selected odds. Conditions and exclusions apply. 18+. BeGambleAware.org.
Hi there, it's the Racing Post Postcast. I'm Bruce Millington, and I'm joined by Mark Langdon, Joe Champion, and Paddy Power's Ian Griffin. We're looking ahead to a proper Super Sunday. Really, 2 great games. 1:30 Chelsea versus Arsenal. Chelsea hot favourites, I should think, Ian.
Yeah, they're currently 5-6 favourites, 16-5 Arsenal, and 12-5 to draw.
Stick with you, Ian. Are you going to back Chelsea at the odds on?
Yeah, I'd back Chelsea at the odds on. I think Morata is finally showing how good he is. His movement up top is world class. Used to be too much for that Arsenal defence, and Conte's record against top 6 is pretty decent. So I check Chelsea to romp at 5-6.
Chelsea to romp it for Ian. What about you, Mark?
I can understand why you'd want to be with Chelsea. I mean, this is roughly the price they were in the FA Cup final. Now they've got home advantage, but maybe their cup final price was the one that was wrong in hindsight, and easy to say afterwards. But Arsenal were definitely the better team.
They were really good. They were surprisingly good.
They were surprisingly good on the day. I mean, I was looking maybe at Chelsea to win and both teams to score. I'm not sure about Chelsea defensively this season. They've been conceding goals so so far. And Arsenal actually, last campaign against them, they beat them 3-0, then they lost 3-1, and then beat them 2-1. So, I mean, they've got a record of at least scoring. They were the better team in the Community Shield in that 1-1 draw at Wembley before winning on penalties. So maybe Chelsea to win and both teams to score. If you're looking for even a bit more value for your buck, then maybe 2-1 and 3-1. Could be ulterior ways of getting with Chelsea and both teams to score. I agree with Ian about Morata. I thought it might have taken him a while to settle, but it hasn't.
Okay, Joe, what's your view?
Yeah, a few weeks ago we had the Liverpool game, and everyone said Liverpool and both teams to score, and of course Arsenal didn't score, and we all did our money on that. So 5-6 Chelsea, I'd just take that. I mean, like Mark says, Arsenal are capable of scoring, but I'd just play it simple, really. Chelsea have won their last 5 Stamford Bridge games against Arsenal as well, and in midweek, Arsenal are playing tonight, so he will rotate, and it won't be the same team that lines up, but it's not a help. Whereas Chelsea had 2 days extra rest, and he was able to rest several players.
Arsenal, isn't it? They're going on Thursday. We go bingo on Thursdays. What's going on here?
I like the one when Wayne Rooney was talking about what him and he did a magazine piece like him and Colleen before his latest episode, and it was Thursday night was their date night. That was when he was at Manchester United. That was before United were in Europa League. So
maybe that's it. That's the problem.
It's still his date night, but just not hers. Oh well. 4 o'clock, Man United versus Everton. This will be a very interesting game. Man U, I looked at the prices earlier and I thought, blimey, they certainly didn't jump off the page.
No, very short. They're 3-10. Everton are 9-1 and we're 4-1 to draw.
9-1 Everton, Ian. What about that?
Sure, there's a game against City. They were like said a man advantage for most of the game, and they didn't really take control of the game. I thought City were very good after that. They've bought lots of players, but they failed to impress me. They were beaten comfortably by Chelsea as well. United have turned into a typical Mourinho side, haven't they? Terrible to watch, but they're just like a machine. They just get the job done.
No Pog this time?
Poggers.
Pogba's out. He did a hamstring,
yeah, he
didn't
did his hammy,
Yeah, I fancy Everton to get a goal, but United to win and both teams to score looks okay to me at 9-4.
Okay, that's what you're going for. What are you going for, Mark?
I mean, I was looking at United to win to 0, actually.
Are you quite unimpressed with Everton?
Yeah, I mean, I was pre-season. I don't know. I think the problem for a lot of people is they overrated them in pre-season. I mean, they lost their best player, Lukaku, and who obviously went to United, and bought most of their players were from Burnley, Sunderland, Swansea. I mean, they weren't going out and buying Messi and Luis Suarez. I didn't understand the kind of all this hula-baloo over them and the fuss that they could, crack the top 4 or anything. I mean, they were miles off the top 6 last season. That was with Romelu Lukaku. So I mean, they've had 3 shots on target in their they've had a hard run of games, but 3 shots on target in total against 10 Man City, Chelsea, and Tottenham. They've barely laid a glove on any of those sides. They've had the trip obviously to Italy on Thursday, where I'm expecting them to play an almost full strength team. I don't, it's a big competition really for Everton. Pogba's injury is a blow to United, so maybe they won't actually run away with it quite as much. So and a 1-0 or something like that, because I don't see Everton causing too many problems. I mean, their failure to replace Lukaku was just bizarre. They've had all summer to do it, and they didn't bring in anybody of his ilk, even though they bought loads and loads of players.
Would you expect Lukaku to celebrate or not? He won't, will he?
I doubt he will.
It'll be one of the textbook not celebrating.
Yeah, I doubt he will. Obviously, Rooney on the other side wouldn't either.
Oh, no.
But, I mean, they bought Rooney, Sigurdsson and David Klaassen, who all want to play in the same position.
It's like a Portuguese side, aren't they?
Yeah, where'd you play?
Players.
Number 10. Yeah. So I thought it was a very confused summer transfer window for Everton.
Okie doke. Joe, what do you reckon?
Yeah, United should win. They're short enough, though, aren't they? Like we've said, they've bought all these nice attacking midfielders, but there's no end product in Everton, and that's a big problem. I was just looking at potential first goal scorers. Lukaku, obviously, the favourite, and rightfully so. But Marcus Rashford's been scoring as well. And, he was rested in midweek, and then he came off the bench and scored. So, yeah, I think he'll probably start, and 4-1's a decent each way price.
OK, fair enough. Jolly good. OK, thank you very much indeed, chaps. Excellent stuff. Thank you, Ian. Nice to do a postcast with you. Hopefully do another one very soon. And if you enjoy listening to the postcast, do please make sure you rate, review and subscribe on iTunes. We're back with the Racing Postcasts on Friday, and then another football podcast next Thursday, so join us for that.
Check out Paddy Power's new and exclusive Cash Card Plus, available to use online, at ATMs, or even down the local. Paddy Power, you beauty!